Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy and the Boo and Michael Devellano directly from the West Coast, California. Welcome and Michael today, Tuesday morning.
Good morning. We are ready and raring to go.
Here we go with you Hockey Nation fans. If you follow us a little bit more, you could see our show post game last night. After the game, it's already on Facebook under Hockey Nation live show, and also on their YouTube channel. We have me and Michael, so under also Hockey Nation live show, so you can watch uh, any program, any show we produce every day about the NHL playoff and all the update and the news around the NHL, talking about the news and the update what's going on. We have to have this program. It's all about the five winner of the trophies last night. Um, I feel like every time that Oscar or big show like this should be exactly like this, 30 minute, no blah blah blah, no drama, no joke before the show. You go open up, give the trophy, the guys show up, talk about life, and then move
Yeah,
on,
maybe.
right? It was 30 minutes, five trophy.
Well,
And
the worst actors are hockey players, right? They're just very stoic.
yeah, so
It's
it
because the
was
guys that
nice.
are entertaining, you don't like. They don't get along with other players. It's weird. It's a weird culture, but
Yeah, so it was nice to see those five trophies. It was great to do the old hockey player, Hall of Famer, talking about the nomination, everything like that on each individual trophies. It was great to see Wayne Gretzky, Grant Fuhr, Mark Messier yesterday for each one of them. So if we start today, we're going to have Michael. I would love to have you, you know, give us some your input about each one of them on your on the individual winner, and also we're going to remind you and me together we are wrong a couple of times yesterday
yeah.
about the Trent trophies.
Sometimes we vote with our heart.
Yeah,
No pun
so
intended with the Hart Trophy.
so let's start with the Hart Trophy and also the Ted Lindsey Award. So to be sure that the hockey fans, Hockey Nation fan understand, or people understand the difference between both trophy. First of all, they are both on the MVP players. So the best player play. The difference between the Ted Lindsey Award and the Hart Trophy is because the Hart Trophy is the vote from every the media people, right? They have access to vote, and then the Ted Lindsey Award is all about the players inside the NHL make the vote at the end, and they are always the same three players in nomination, so they cannot name a fourth, fifth players. So everybody have to have the same three names. So on the race for both trophy yesterday, and they are Leon Drensal from the
Oh,
Edmonton
Leon
Oilers,
Draisaitl, yeah.
and then we have Nathan McKinnon from the Colorado Avalanche, and then Artemi Panarin from the New York Rangers. And honestly, the I was surprised. I'll be honest with you. I thought it's going to be split between two players, but Leon, the Germany players, Leon Transelt from the Edmonton Oilers won the both trophy,
Yeah.
the Hart Trophy, and the Ted Lindsay. Before you jump, I will give you I have the result of the vote. Um, and Leon got 1,309 points. He was over almost 175 point over. Nathan McKinnon got 1,162, and then
Wow.
Artemi Panarin was 889 for the first place for the one
Very
two.
close, right?
Yeah, for the first place, it was Leon. Leon got 91 first vote, and then Nathan 48, and then Panarin only 24.
Yeah.
So they can vote also for other players, but the three nomination are there. And after that, you talk about we talked about him yesterday. Pasnak got 369, and then Connor McDavid 309, and then Connor Illy Brook got 283, and then after
Oh,
that,
really?
yeah. So it was pretty good to see him a little bit. So like I just mentioned, Leon won both trophy. What do you think, and what you are you feeling about?
I thought he was going to win, to be honest with you. I was hoping McKinnon would get one of the two. That it would, because and it's interesting that you show the votes are very close because it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
Both guys were phenomenal. I understand the argument that he's got McDavid, but again, as we looked at it, he led the NHL in scoring. He took his game to another level. He often played without McDavid, so he would play center on one line and then wing on the other. Like he played a lot, and they made the playoffs after not making it for a while, which partly probably due to changes, including the coach. However, he definitely elevated his game, and I think he's totally deserving of it. If McKinnon won it, I don't think it would be a complete rip off, but I think on paper, Colorado is a much better team. Like, there's no Kale McCarr on Edmonton. There's no Landis. Well, you got it's hard. It's hard to say up front. I think they're definitely better up front, and they're definitely better in goal in Colorado. So I think overall, I don't have any problem with it. I think both players had great years. I would have been shocked if Panarin was in discussion, but I think it was kind of a 1-2 race. So that doesn't. Congratulations to Leon. He is an interesting guy because he was drafted third overall in that draft. Was that the Ekblad draft?
I think so.
And then it went. You know who the second was? It was Reinhardt.
That's true.
Like,
I remember that one
so
too.
Buffalo
Yeah,
picked Sam Reinhart, who's not a bad player. So first went Aaron Ekblad, who's the Florida Panthers defenseman, and then Sam Reinhart, who's had a good NHL career. Like he's a good player, and he has to be re-signed. But if you compare it, 422 points in 422 games for Leon. The next closest guy is 257, which is Nikolai Ehlers. And
yeah.
you know what's interesting? Then you've got Reinhardt, and very close is Dylan Larkin, who was 15th. So it's an interesting draft. You go back and you go, man, would Florida or Buffalo have done way better? Yeah, obviously. But they also don't have McDavid for him to play with. Leon played for the Prince Albert Raiders in the WHL, so we got to see him a fair amount. He destroyed our league, and he went to the NHL a little early, and then they sent him back, which I think was a great choice for him. And he
Yep.
just wrecked our league. I mean, it was just like stupid.
You're already a scout. You know how this works. It's very hard. It's easier to talking after 3, 4 years about the pick and everything like that. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
sure.
It's
Even at
fun.
the time, I remember thinking like, why is
It's
this guy got first?
Yeah, it's fun to see sometimes like you pick a year like 2016, 17, and then you
Yeah,
you do again a draft
for
with what
sure.
you know today. And
Redrafted.
you know what I mean? Like Florida, they pick Aaron or they go with Leon, right?
Yeah.
And you go all the way like that. Just have
Ekblad's a good player. I like Ekblad, but he's not going to be an MVP or a Norris Trophy guy anytime soon. And if you remember when Leon got drafted, first of all, his dad was a pro player. He's a Czechoslovakian player, and he was born in Germany because his dad played in the German league. But he was called the German Gretzky because I
oh
think
yeah.
everyone knew this guy was going to be the best German player ever.
Yeah, it's one reason I think it's nice to see this is I call this like I do a podcast. It's all about hockey around the world, and I like to explore more other countries. And 25 years ago, 30 years ago or 40 years ago was USA opened the door more in the hockey. And then after that, the inclusion, all the, Russian player came and
Yep.
NHL. Then after that, you got Sweden players came in the NHL. Of course, before like, Borgi Salming and those one or
Oh
two
yeah, he was
players,
a
but
trailblazer.
but the one NHL really go international. And then after that, now you got the Finland players where they become really the niche or the place where a lot of players, whatever, they have only 5 million people over there, they
Yeah,
produce NHL players. And now it's nice to see countries like Germany now, they produce, Leon, and then you have this
Stutzley's going
draft,
to be good.
Tim,
Stutzley.
yeah. So it's
He,
good to see
he's
that,
very good.
you know
And
what I
the
mean?
other guy that went, yeah, last year is Maurice Sider to Detroit, the right shot defenseman, and he looks really good. He's like a 6'4", smooth skating defenseman. He played for the same team Stutzley played for.
Yeah, and I think we're going to talk about the draft in the next couple of days. We mention this all the time, but it's coming. We prepare it, and I think you have a great. I think you like a lot the German from the.
Oh yeah, the
Is it?
more I watch him,
Yep.
he's
Who
a very
was that? Maybe not the first player German playing in NHL, but who he was a great defenseman player.
Uwe Krupp.
Yep. Who you we group?
He played for a lot of teams, but he played for Detroit for a little while, and
He
he
was
was
6'6".
he was 6'6". He was a big man, and
He
he
was
other
drafted
his
by
son
Buff.
played.
He was drafted by Buffalo,
Yep,
and then
very
he
good
went
player.
to. But honestly, he was
What's
like
that?
he went to he went to Islanders a couple of years.
Colorado.
He went to Quebec for 1 year. Then he went to Colorado a couple of years. Finished with Detroit before retire with the Atlanta team. Thrasher play only
So
for.
what's interesting about that is he was one of the first AAA coaches at TPH, and
Oh
his
yeah.
son, I think it was Bjorn was his kid's name, and they were 90. I want to say 93. I'm trying to remember if there was 93 or 92. I think it was 93 or 90. Yeah, it was somewhere around there. I think it was 93s. I'll check. But because I remember they came to the OHL Cup. So the
Really?
OHL Cup was the showcase, and I remember Uwe meeting him there, and he was coaching that TPH team. They got their asses thumped, but that's because there's so many great teams.
I know,
That was
right?
like
You
a
have a lot of
crazy,
good player over there.
we had a crazy, that was a crazy group of players at that age group. Let's see, Bjorn. Oh, he's a 91. So that's why, because I coached, that's right, because I was coaching in that was the first ever time and the last time I ever coached in the OHL Cup. And we had the Toronto Junior Canadians. So the TPH team came with, and Bjorn, he never really turned into too much, but we had Ryan O'Reilly, Kingston had Taylor Hall, Mississauga had Casey Cizikas, and then the North Central Predators had Matt Duchene.
I mean, he went to OHL. He played for Belleville Bulls,
Yeah.
and then
Did
after
he
that,
really?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yep,
Well, that's pretty high level.
yeah, he played on the net.
Yeah, he played 3 years. I didn't realize that. I
Yeah,
thought he went US route, which he did. I guess he came back. He
yeah.
did play pro. Good for him. Okay.
So and after that, he finished. Germany. He played on Moses' team in Germany. I'm sure
Good
he
for
have
him.
family over
I
there.
didn't realize that.
You know what I mean? He have I'm sure. So we just like slide from the from the
Yeah,
winner,
sorry.
Leon.
The awards.
Now we went
I
to
went down
Germany.
memory lane with these guys.
So it was like, so it was great to, I always love to come back and talking about the old players, everything like that. So let's go back now, the Calder trophy. Honestly, Calder is all about the rookies of the year. Um, Honestly, this year we have a few players. The most were, and then it would be interesting. I will let you know this. It would be like, I want to know what you think after that. But the nomination was Makar, then Quinn Hughes, and then Dominic Kubalik from
Hmm.
Chicago. Um, the winner of this is the defenseman from Colorado Avalanche, Cal Makar, have like 1,538 points
Oh,
versus
wow.
Quinn, but it was close versus Quinn Hughes 1,337.
It's not as
So
close as the other one. That's pretty far off, but
yeah, and then Dominic was really far behind at 544. But I
that doesn't
want you, I don't, you don't have the vote, right?
no.
Okay, so who do you think got a lot of vote, very close to Kubalik. You believe he played as a rookie. What do you think? Like, if just make you a. I'm just a quiz for you right now. Who do you think was,
Who else was a rookie this year? Um,
close to that one? You know what I mean?
I don't know why I'm blanking out. There was someone that was really in the race, and then Kubalik kind of snuck up, and I'm trying to think of who it was. I can't think of who it was. There's another defenseman.
Yep, yep. You're close.
Oh my God, why am I blanking? So there were three really great defensemen this year. Not Hezekiah because he's not a rookie. I can't know. I don't know.
All right, Adam Fox.
Oh, that's garbage.
Adam Fox got 430 points. He's only like 100 points
Nah, you can
behind
keep him. I have no interest in him.
Kubalik about that one there. If you go a little
I
bit
think
more,
they picked the top three. Whoever voted for him must be from New York.
so
I don't
if you
care if
want
he's a
to
rookie.
go,
This guy screwed the system as American players like to do. Apparently, they play games, right? And this guy made himself a free agent through a loophole. So first of all, he ain't that young, and second of all, he's not in the same class as the top two. I'm shocked that people had the guts to vote for that guy.
so after that you have Elvis
Merkin.
Mesligan from Columbus got 215. Then another one surprised me, but Mackenzie Blackwood from
Was he a rookie?
yep.
Oh man, I don't know. Like he was really good.
Yep. So you
Like
got
he's emerged
164.
as a legit NHL number one goalie. Like
Yep. So
that's
it was like, but back again at the winner, very close again, like you said. You know, it's not.
I think Makar is a star.
I'll ask you this question. From today, we are 2020. Let's go move on to 2030. After 10 years, who do you believe really is going to be better hockey player or
Of
make
all
a
those guys,
great NHL career? Carl McCarr or Quinn Hughes?
Kale Makar.
I agree.
I mean, they're both going to be stars.
Yes, but
Like those two guys are like legit stars. They're not just guys that had good rookie years. I, I want to. There's something weird about. So you know what's funny about Mackenzie Blackwood? Before we move on with that, is he played 23 games the year before, so he's just like for goalies, that's a lot. He played two less games than if he had played 25, I think he wouldn't be a rookie, right?
yep.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. So yeah, Kale McCarr for sure is going to be a star. I mean, he's already pretty much on pace for point a game as a young player, and he's super, super, super smart. Um, Quinn Hughes, very similar, maybe not as much hockey IQ, but very close and phenomenal skill set. Like both guys are phenomenal skaters and passers. Like I think the question will be, um, will Quinn be durable? Not that Kale's much bigger, but Kale seems to be a little more elusive, and Quinn's very small. Like Quinn is probably smaller than people even say he is.
Yep. Um, I'm looking about for the since 2000, the winner of 2000 until 2020. Most of them become great hockey players um, as a rookie. But I want to give you two names. Steve Mason. He won the 2008 2009. I don't consider him like a great hockey player. Like he did not become what he was expect. Then Andrew Raycroft,
Oh
goalie.
my God, he won the Calder.
Yeah, in
Ah,
2003 2004, and
Andrew
then
Raycroft is a victim of being part of one of the worst 3 or 4 trades in NHL
yeah,
history,
yeah,
with Tuukka Rask going the other way.
yeah, with Boston, everything like that.
Oh my
And
God.
then one he never developed like he was expect. It was Barrett Jackman.
You know what? He was physically mature. I was surprised when he won. Everybody was a little bit surprised because he stepped in as a rookie and he was able to be a very good defenseman. And he was a very good defenseman the rest of his career. I think it was probably his best offensive year too. And then he was not an offensive guy. Like he was like a number 5 type D.
And the last 10 years, start from with Tyler Myers and Jeff Skinner. The one win I think in the maybe at the worst right now is Aaron Eggblad from the Florida Panthers. Um, he's the worst of the last 10 years. Players
Really?
win the rookies compared to Peterson, Barzal, Matthews, Panarin, McKinnon, Huberto, Lestegag, and Patrick Kane.
I think
Malkin
a lot of
over.
teams would like Aaron Ekblad.
No, but my point to you, compare for everybody else win the rookies, right? He is the last one, I believe, compared to maybe the last one, the last 10 years, Jeff Skinner. I think I would take Aaron before him.
Oh
But
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you talk about the big name win the Calder, it's pretty amazing. You know,
I know you see him a lot. If you look at his career, this is the first year he's ever had less than 10 goals in a season. He's a 40-point defenseman, right shot. He's a big guy that maybe, to your point, you'd like him to be more physically mean and aggressive, which I get. Um, but he's a very good defenseman. I mean, I don't know if he's a
it's
number
not
one.
bad. I
I,
think
I think he's a
again,
number two. Like if you have that guy as your number, like compare him to Eric Johnson. Like
I really believe the problem of Aaron is it get with a big contract at that young age, at $7.5 million, and that's why me I always believe the Panthers make a mistake. He should give him a $5 million, 5.5 like they did with Roberto,
yeah,
Barkov, and then give him the money he deserves. He have a bad year, not this year, year prior. He has really struggled, but before that, I agree with you.
I,
He's a great, excellent
I
defenseman.
think he's a guy that was physically mature at a very young age.
Yes.
Like
Oh yeah, yeah. But at 18
he
years
was
old, when you show up at a
he
training
was
camp,
ready to play
he
in the
was look like
NHL
24.
as a rookie. He looked like he was a 20. He was a man, right?
Yep.
And he was like that in the OHL. And in the
Yep.
OHL, the debate was, what's his real upside? We know he's ready now, though. So it's a very safe pick for Florida. And I don't
Yep.
think they made a bad pick.
No.
I mean, Draisaitl to me was the right pick, but he wasn't even ready. Like if you look at Draisaitl, it's funny. Like he had to go back to the WHL and he played for Kelowna. So I get why they picked him, and I don't think it would have been the only other guys that were below that might have been in the conversation would have been Nylander. He's soft like butter. Um, like who else? Pasternak was the shock. Like
But
nobody,
again,
nobody saw
Michael,
Pasternak.
and Michael, like when you build a team, you better to start with a great defenseman like Aaron
Yeah,
versus Nylander to go forward. You know what I mean? You're not
exactly.
going to build a team around Nylander. You're going to
Nobody's
build
gonna build a team around Nylander unless
no.
they're dumb.
So that's what I mean. Like that's my point to you. That so congrats to I
When
think
was Barkov after that?
yes,
So you think about it, they passed on Leon, they got Ekblad, then they got Barkov. No, Barkov was a year before. So they already had Barkov. So they had no need for Leon Draisaitl. Like those are very similar players, right?
that's true.
So you have Barkov and Ekblad. You've got two pieces to build around. They've been pretty damn good since.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that one over there. So congrats to Cal. Great for you. I think
Great
we're going to.
player.
I love to see the young guy like them because the hockey NHL has a great future with a great
Oh
youth
my God.
young hockey player like them,
Some
and
great players.
it's fun to watch. I think the we talk about the formula. We're going to talk more about the format of playoff maybe in the future, but it's fun to watching those kids in August and September this year. We have a better chance to watch them compare because both of them play on the West Coast time. You tell me it's a mountain time from Colorado, but at the end of the day, we don't see him a lot on the Eastern time. So watching them develop, get better, that was a great opportunity for me to watching them. Let's move on with the Vezina Trophy um, between Tukar Rask, Andrei Vasilevsky, and you know what?
Hellebuck?
I'm laughing right now. For some reason, I always call Vasilevsky like Alexi. Now I
Oh,
realize
right.
it's Andre. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. It happens
Well,
sometime.
wasn't
You
there a
know,
defenseman?
I don't know, remember. But anyway, the third one was
Yeah,
corner.
so
And
Alex Vasilevsky played in the NHL.
yeah,
He
um,
was a defenseman that
yeah,
played. Oh, he's
you're
a
right.
right winger. Sorry,
You're right.
I'm
Um,
thinking the other guy. There's another Vasilevsky, but anyways.
the
Oh yeah,
winner of this one, and you talk a lot about him yesterday. You really, give us a great input, but also information about corner with the Jet, Winnipeg Jet. You talk about his when he played young age, you talk that, and he won yesterday. And for me,
good.
um, you know, and you know what? He went and he did. He went by mile.
He
He
should have.
got he got he got 123 points versus 99 from Tukas Rask. And you know what surprised me? Andrei Vasilevsky, ski got only 31.
I find that really difficult to swallow. Like, first of all, I think we talked about this. Winnipeg lost. Like, if you look at his record on paper, 31 and 21, 31 wins, 21 losses, 922 save percentage, nothing to sneeze at, and a 257. The circumstances, he's playing in Winnipeg, but they lost Dustin Bufflin. They traded Truba. They lost Ben Chariot. They lost Tyler Myers.
Yep.
And on paper, you're like, this is a terrible defense. Now, it didn't turn out that way. Like they looked, Neil Pionk showed he can play in the NHL, and Morrissey's probably a 1B type guy. So he's good enough.
Yep.
They got a lot of miles, though, out of guys like Kulikov. Like he's terrible. You had him in Florida, didn't you?
Yeah,
Like
he
he's not a
wasn't.
good
Yeah,
defenseman.
we got him, and then he was in Buffalo prior to
Yeah,
that.
and he struggled everywhere.
Yep.
Like Tucker Poolman, who?
Yep.
Like, you go down the list and you're like, Lucas Spiza still plays in the NHL? Like, so not a strong D. They got some guys coming up, but nothing that would help them. This guy was the backbone of that team.
Yep. I think also we have to give credit because you talk about D before we talk about corner. I think we need to give more credit for the coaching staff from Winnipeg. I think Paul Morris with his
Maybe.
with Jason Compton and they did a really great structure to give the chance to corner also
Maybe.
to get great defensemen. So it's great for that part of
I
there.
don't think you can cover up that lack of talent.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the worst D in the NHL, maybe.
It's a bottom for sure.
It's
And
like pretty damn close to the worst. Like, who's there? Would you ever go, I really want Josh Morrissey to be my best defenseman?
it's a really it's a I follow a lot on I'm learning a lot with NHL coaching from Jason Compton and oh my God, he's now
Todd
with
Woodcroft?
and our assistant coach is with Vermont University, Wood Ruff,
Yeah,
um,
Todd Woodcroft.
Jay Woodruff. So they was
Jay is a good guy.
both of
Jay
them
is,
are coaching just for many years, and
yeah,
I one day meet them a
that's cool.
lot, and they was talking a lot about Morrissey, about a great defenseman, and I think he is the top four for many team as a
Morrissey?
defenseman. Morrissey, they talk a lot about his development, everything like that.
Yeah, he's good.
He's really good, and that he is helping a lot. What when you lose top four, honestly,
Everybody's like,
the four player you mentioned earlier,
we
they
trash
could play anywhere and
anywhere.
any team right now NHL as a top four defenseman.
Easy. Well,
He,
maybe Chariot not, but yeah. I mean, he
yeah,
could be a number four, right?
yeah.
But Tyler Myers and
So corner win with 19 first vote
totally
first.
deserving.
And then Rask have only 10, and then Andre have got only one. Congrats to Corner. I think he's like you said, is a big, great goalie. Little bit 2 years ago, remember the how the Jet been very well in the playoff, and he have a great season with the Jet. He's a really solid goalie, maybe one of the top five, maybe at least 10 goalies in NHL. So well deserved from him, and he's going to be there for many years, and see what's going on with Winnipeg because there are a lot of decisions you have to move on. And finally, to finish this segment about trophies, the last one where I'm not surprised, but I'm happy for this part also. But the Norris Trophy is for the best defenseman in NHL, and we have a nomination: Victor Edmond, John Carlson from Washington Capitals, and then Roman Huzi from the Nashville Predator. And yesterday we talked about this where Roman he was on his first nomination for Norris Trophy. It was surprised me when I read that, and I thought me John Carlson's going is have he has going to win. It was my prediction. I think he said Victor Edmond, right?
I thought they would pick Hedman. He's the safe choice.
Yep.
It's crazy if you look at what Yossi has done. Like, I realize that Carlson had 75 points, but this guy had 65 points in 69 games. And it's not just 1 year. Like, if you look at, he goes, like, I forget, he's a 1990 birth year. This guy's 30. And he has had seasons of 13, 15, 14, 12, 14, 15, 16 goals a season. And he's consistently over 50 points. And he's a plus defenseman, and he logs big minutes. So it's kind of, to your point, it's kind of surprising that he's only been nominated once. But, how quick did his career go? I mean, he's been there longer than any of us probably even remember.
Yep. And then one thing I will have to mention this, he was really the vote. He was by mile. Jose has 1,500 points. It was the most point.
Wow.
Let me check to be sure. He has he has over almost 300 points versus 250 more to John Carlson, and then Victor Edmond have 820. Then I'm going to give you a couple of players got some vote. Pridangelo finished fourth. Then Jacob Slavin from Carolina fifth.
Really?
Shea Theodore sixth. Tougie Hamilton seven. Zach Wawrinski eight. Cal McCarr nine.
Where was Seth Jones?
And then Charlie McEnvoy number 10. And Zeb John is only 14.
What?
Yep, he was after Miro Eskenan, Tony D'Angelo, and Asa
He can be
Lindell.
better than everybody.
So, but again, when you get there, it's not like you get a vote by someone, vote from that city or another city, everything like that. But I want to bring you two things here. First of all, John Carlson had maybe the best of the three first 25 game.
Oh, yeah.
He was the one really, he was in
Crazy.
front of everybody. But from that area, 20-25 game until to the end, anybody was better at Roman Jose in NHL. He was dominate everything after the first quarter of the season. Jose, he was the best defenseman by mile versus Carlson, Edmund, and anybody else. He carried on the Nashville. He was dominate everything like that. It was amazing to see Roman Jose that way. So he deserved well, I think.
Yeah, congratulations to him. And I
Yep.
think we were saying this yesterday. What's also very weird is we are past the era of one great defenseman because we've had 8 different winners in 9 years.
Yep.
And we've had 9 winners in 11 years because Carlson won it twice. So it's kind of, what's also crazy is Roman Yossi was a second-round draft pick the year that Drew Doughty went second overall.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? And Stamkos was first that year.
That's crazy to see that over there. The one reason Nashville always been good for the last couple of years, with Perry Trotz and then you can mention Rini in the net, and then you get Shea Weber was there prior with Ryan Sutter, and then you have Ellis there.
So many great
head
defenseman.
down. You got a 3 years with Piquet Subban around them, but I think whatever you have in forward, you can say Ryan Winson, you can mention, um, Forsberg and those players always been the best, I think, for this organization for many years. It's always been Roman Huzi
I
as a
agree.
defenseman. I don't think you have anybody else around him. Could be before that, of course, Shane Weber was maybe the best one over there. But since he left, Huzi uh, took
I
that team
mean,
under his wing, and he become the captain, everything like that. So he's really, really deserve it. First time he's a winner of the
yeah, good
Norris.
for him.
So good for him to that part over there.
What's crazy about that team is, I mean, Ekholm's real good. Ryan Ellis is underrated. They have Dante Fabro, and yet they've traded away Seth Jones and Weber.
Yep. So that's finished the five trophy. Just resume again. The Hart and Lindsey was won by Leon Trezol from Edmonton. Then we have Cal McCarr from Colorado, the Calder Trophy. Then we have the your goalie corner Eli Buck from the Winnipeg Jet, and finally Roman Jose from the Norris Trophy. I want to move on for before we close here today. We don't have a lot of news around the league. Other fact like the NHL complete their 8 weeks of Phase 4 return to play with everybody have to do testing, testing, testing. We have minus player get test. We have minus team. Everybody left the bubble. Honestly, on the 11 under 27 tests. Tested by player and everybody testing administration. Everything. No one have no one was positive, so it was all negative. So it's pretty good for that part over there. We don't have any news. Other fact, I have a big news from you. You're not going to be happy. You're going to be upset right now.
No.
Zatina, Philip Zatina,
What happened?
hurt.
Oh, fuck. How
Yep,
bad?
got hurt. Couple of weeks. We don't know the nature exactly. Upper body injury, and he played for his dad in the Czechoslovakia league, hockey league right now.
Oh, it's a
And
finger injury.
yeah, it's a injury for about 2 days ago, if I can recall it. So it's really, you know, that's maybe the danger of organizations sending along the players to go play there during the time the hockey is off right now, because most, we talk about Stanley Cup, honestly, 29 other teams are out of the playoff and they are winning, and you have no AHL, no ECHL, you have no NCAA. So the players right now, the young players, they try to loan them at the left and right, and because many teams right now play, they are open up their door and they play hockey right now. Switzerland and Swiss and those league, KHL is coming, everything like that. So you can see the France, and you can see that danger, and many staff, organization, coaches, director, manager are a little bit worried about that part could happen. And I think you said yesterday, we talked about him. I think it was yesterday, the day before, about what remember, I remember we was together when he got draft number 6. He got passed by many other players, and you talk about Montreal yesterday. Who was after Montreal? Carolina? Did I lost you?
Who passed him? Yeah, because Kotkaniemi went to Montreal, and then Arizona drafted Hayden.
And then Zatina got no, Carolina was number 2nd. He got Sandinikov,
Yeah, but that's
right?
why I say Arizona got Barrett Hayton.
Yeah.
So if it really, to me, I don't like. He had a high ankle injury last year. He came, he made the NHL, and if you watch him, he is really an elite skater, and he's got elite skills. Like I dare say, as almost as fast as Larkin, and he's more skilled. And you could see he's probably ready to be kind of a 25 goal scorer.
He is a
And
sniper.
I talked to my
He is a really
he's a
good
sniper.
sniper.
He loves to score goals. Like some guys like to score goals. This guy is like obsessed with scoring goals. And
I could be
what was his
wrong.
answer?
I could be wrong. Or could be wrong. That one maybe I'm more analyzed about this because you're watching more of the Troy team. I feel like
Yeah.
it's like passurity, but more speed. So the sniper has mass passurity score an average 30 goals plus per league per year. He has that kind of skill like passurity, but
Oh,
he's
yeah, he
more
could.
faster.
I, he he's better. He's better than that. He hasn't shown it yet. So if Detroit screws that up, I don't know what to say. I mean, if his injury screwed him up, then I don't know what to say. Because if you look at this player, there's players that were drafted ahead of him that are doing better on paper. I think the next 10 years for this guy, he should be an average of a 30 goal scorer. But it's more than that because he's not just a shooter. I think the guy's a very good playmaker, but he's got elite speed. So the worry is, does he keep getting hurt? That's the only thing that holds him back because his desire, his level of work ethic, his speed, and his hands are like interesting, right? Like
And
I
remember,
think very
he
quickly
was a
he'll be
product of
surprised
QM.
of
He played at
the Quebec
QM.
League. Yeah, he played in the Quebec League. Yeah,
Yeah, he played
he,
Quebec League versus Chemnikov. He was OHL, right?
listen, he's not as good as Svechnikov, but Svechnikov's a special player. But he's still, in my opinion, he had 8 goals in 28 games last year. He had 9 in the AHL in 21 games. You look at with Quebec, he had 44 goals in 57 games.
And I think
He
the
could
reason
score.
Montreal
Like
did not pick
kid's a
him,
snipe show. I mean,
the only
sorry,
reason Montreal did not pick him is because Montreal that
he
year
insulted.
they looking for center, center,
Yeah.
center, center, and
Oh,
they surprised a lot of people.
they did.
Exploring
Would you have picked Kotkaniemi over Kachuk?
not right now.
Never. I said it at the time. I was just like, why would you do that? They're like, well, one's a center and one's a wing. I'm like, okay, move Brady to the middle. He's a 6'3", high skilled, mean son of a bitch. Like you're gonna regret not drafting him. How many people regret drafting Matthew Kachuk? Like
I think at that moment also it was the if Kretschak he was coming from
Kachuk.
WHL or OHL or and not coming um,
U.S.
from
development, Boston,
Boston, like NCAA, everything like that, I think that would be changing the perception of
maybe.
people, right? But that's not changing how good he was, but the perception of people. And I think, you know what, if you are, Jesus, you follow hockey for 40 years, start
Yeah.
with Keith Trackshot, Keith the dad. What kind of player he was?
He was a monster.
It was a monster. It was the type of Will Pemon and Wendell Clark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 30, 40 goal and power stroke
Mean.
main guy. Then you go from his brother, right? So his
The
brother
brother is
are
like not as big, but he's nasty. And he's a winner. Like the kid is when okay, you look at that 016 draft, right? So you have to pick Matthews first. Patrick Liney, I have no problem in second, and Dubois third. Puya Harvey, I think, was mishandled. Ua Levy, and then Kachuk. Like when Edmonton passed on Kachuk, I was very surprised. Columbus surprised everybody by taking Dubois, but they were probably correct. But if you look at
they
it,
did good
because
now because of Dubois, and Dubois is a great hockey player.
yeah, but Kachuk's still like 235 NHL points versus 158. So it's still an argument to say pick Kachuk.
But again, I believe Dubois does a better job with Columbus if Ketchuk would be there because Ketchuk is a winger and they don't have anybody on center side because they trade Ryan Owenson. So sometimes it's not only the players.
Yeah,
You have to
no,
step
that's why I say I have no problem with Dubois. But again, can you imagine Kachuk on the same team as Tortorella?
Yeah, but who do you have for center? You know what I mean?
Move him to center.
But you need to build.
Again,
You need build for
we
center.
overthink it.
You know what I mean?
He can play
So
center, but he takes lots of faceoffs.
But again, I just like sometimes the team pick
I get
apart
it.
because
It
what they
was
are
fun.
missing a point. But
Yeah,
back to Ketchuk, everybody, the family from the dad to all the three kids, the kids they have, they always produce great hockey player, and they always going to be meanness inside of them, and that's what I'm talking about. Aaron, uh,
Ekblad.
yeah, exactly. He don't have that kind of the meanness inside them. Like he looked like more like Scott Niedermayer. I don't compare him like Scott Niedermayer, but a kind of fluid skater, big wrench arm. He walked. I listen. I went to the ring many morning early, and he was always
Yeah,
there. I don't want to
yeah,
just. I give him a lot of credit, and it's not easy for 18 years old come the NHL. But finishing with Ketchuk, I agree with you. I think Montreal should pick him on, pick Brady versus Kokanemi. But again, in 10
I
years,
would.
who is going to have the right thing? We want to finish the show
Good
with
check.
a couple of things about the UFA, where Pierre LeBrun talk about the situation where it's really strange year. First, because the COVID. Second, the salary cap. Thirdly, a lot of teams are completely at the max exact. You know what I mean? Like they had to move a lot of dice before they figure out they can sign a one player, everything like that. But LeBron said Taylor Hall is going to give the direction of everything, like Pietrangelo is going to do the same thing on defense on the defense. One thing this year, yeah, nobody, like I don't want to say nobody, but it's not good on forward this year on UFA
Nope.
versus defensemen.
Everybody's locking their best guys up, right?
I'm
So
saying again.
everybody's locking up their best players in long-term
Yeah.
contracts.
So Taylor Hall is going to be really showing up what's going on. And then after that, one player did not do well last year, said he was traded to Nashville. And I want you to give us some info, some your impression about Michael Grenland. Played for Minnesota many years now. He got traded to Nashville, and he did not do like I think he had 38 points, 60 game. Usually have average 60 point per year with Minnesota. So and now he's a UFA. He was over $6 million per year. What do you think? What do you believe? What kind of player is it? Grenland Nashville is going to be the next 5 years? He's 28 years old, or do you believe Grenland, Minnesota, and he can fit somewhere somehow?
This kid to me, I think I originally, he kind of plays left wing, he plays center. He definitely did not play center in Nashville. He's a pretty talented kid. Like he's not big. I think he has a brother. I don't know if he's the same age, like if they're twins or if it's a year older, Marcus. They're gritty players. He's a good two-way guy and he's got high skill. His
Yeah, he was drafted in 10, nine overall pick by
yeah,
Minnesota. He's a
and you
92.
watch him like he's had, he took a little while to ramp up in Minnesota. But he had a 20 goal years and he was kind of like a 55, 60 point guy, I think.
He has like I will give you from 15, right? Or the his first two at the beginning of the year, he had 63 game and 68, 81. So anyway, he got 41, 39, 44,
Yeah.
69, 67, 54, 49, 54 with both team, and then last year's only 30 point where he's the first time. But he have 17 goal last year in Nashville. Before prior 15, 16, 21, 26. 13, 8, and 8, or he was rookies. So you have an average about 18, 20 goals per year. You have an average of 35 to 40 assists. He's got about 60 points per year, 55 plus, I would say to you. He's never been a lot of minus. He's always been on the plus side or, -4 last year.
He's a good player. I think he is a guy. I'm trying to think of a good fit for him. He can play wing, he can play center. Do you like him at center as a second line center? He's definitely a top six player in my mind. I think he had a down year and you might get a bit of a deal, a prove me contract. I think you would be risky just because of the one-off year. But again, you just hit it on the head. His worst season the last like 7 years is 54 points and 16 goals. If that's the type of production, that's acceptable for top six. So I think the thing is to remember is he played with Eric Stahl. So does he go to a Buffalo? But then he's going to be on the wing. If he goes to a team like Detroit that has a big hole on the second line, he might be a good fit because he'll get all the opportunity to do his thing. There's nobody going to challenge him for a second line center role, and he'll have decent wingers. You know, I think those are the types of opportunities he needs to get the most money. I think he's a good player. He's not a give me though. I don't know.
So now my next question is coming to this. You know, I believe, I show you said Taylor Hall is a step over everybody else, right?
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, so now the reason I'm talking about Greenland is because now I'm going to give you choice if you are a manager of the team. Mike Hoffman, if Dadonov, Toffoli, Greenland. Yeah, four players right there. They are that kind of similar player for me.
Little problems with each, you know.
So what you go with? Who do you sign out of those four players right now? Hoffman, Dadonov, Toffoli, Greenland. Dadonov, I believe, is 30, 31. I think Hoffman is about that age. Toffoli could be 28, 29. I could be wrong. 28. And then Greenland is 29.
They're both 92s. I think Greenland's a 92 as well, right?
Yeah.
So
for the next 5 years, right? We maybe gave them $6 million, 4 years, 28, $30 million. So my question to you is, are the four players, who do you think you're going to sign to, not to build your team with, but add?
no, they're accessories, right? Like you've got to say, I think I have a really hard time giving any of those guys 5-6 years right now. It's just what it is. Tyler is going to score you 24 goals, 25 goals. So you know that. He can take face-offs when he needs to. He's not a fast skater, but he can play. And the best fit for him is Vancouver. Granlund's more versatile. He can play two ways. He can play center. He can play wing. He gives up a little bit as a center. He's a talented playmaker. He's a pass-first player. So I think it's between those two guys. Hoffman, I know, can score, but I just feel like he's like a black hole for defense, and he's not like a tough player. Dadonov's maybe a sleeper there. He might be the best of them, but I'm not sure. Like, do you give that guy 5-6 years?
I like this idea you bring on the table. I think those four guys, no max to 5 years, and no max to 6.5 for my book. Anyone should get 7 million right now, and
None of those guys should get 7 million. Do you think?
if they get 7 million, it's a 3 years contract, 21 years.
I don't even think. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, hey, I'll bring in Hoffman for 3 years at 7 mil. Feel like that's an overpayment.
But I think
25 goals.
I think a team can sign them for $6 million,
That's 5-6 is my
4 years contract, 28 million. It'd be a good deal
Yep.
for them. On both sides with the salary cap situation, with the low UFAs going to be on the table. They are all potential scoring 20. Maybe Greenland is the last of the four as a potential scorer, the goals, but he is the one maybe on the four can bring 60 point on the board.
I think so. I think he's still a 55-point guy. He'll score you a little bit. He's going
Because
to get
Hoffman, Dadonov, and Toffoli is 25 goals. Hoffman is maybe one of the best four on power play. Dadonov is close, of course,
Yeah.
but overall, I think Dadonov, I will go, but he's the older one of that one of there. But Greenland is very close from Dadonov on my book.
Yeah.
More Toffoli because you've been there with him and you know him very well.
Yeah, but again, I think that Tyler got 4.6 last time. He would do best to stay in Vancouver, honestly.
Yeah.
He's a great second line guy.
He wants to come back on the West Coast. We talk about him on the West Coast. I believe Florida is going to sign Tadonov. He let go Hoffman.
I think they should too.
And then Greenland, at $6 million.
That's high, man.
It's
It's a risk. I think if he gets six, it's shorter term. It's like 3 years. And then if he gets like if he wants anything longer, it's five and a half. Because like he didn't look amazing in Nashville, and they definitely lost that trade right now. Like it's like crazy, but Fiala has emerged as an excellent player,
I
and I
tried to
think
thinking
people
about one thing to get him.
a team.
Yep. And I feel like right now, Los Angeles King could get him.
No, they should not touch him. That there's no need for him. They are so deep right now, you just don't even know it. Like Velarde is Velarde's legit. So you can look at who they have: Alex Turcotte, Velarde. They still have Kempe, and they got Kopitar still playing really well. That's your middle. He's not going to fit in there. On the wings, Grunstrom's ready. He can play. They signed Kaliev. He's junk in my mind. He's like a lazy guy, but he's got talent. I hope he doesn't make the NHL. They're very stacked up front. Like they might be. And they got Akil Thomas. He might be able to be ready to play. LA is going to surprise people really quickly. If Gabe Velarde is healthy, look out. Like even the 10 games he played last year, he was like amazing. Iafolo is better than people realize.
I don't think so. I think Los Angeles still have 2 years to go before they get who they want to be. I think the biggest problem, or not
I don't
problem,
think
but
Granlund helps them.
I think Jimmy Quick is something they have to figure out with him.
Oh, they don't worry about him because have you watched Cal Peterson? Cal Peterson is legit.
Yeah.
He's a very good goalie. They let the other goalie Campbell go because they know Peterson's ready. Like he's an NHL goalie now for sure. And then they still have Jarrett Anderson Dolan. So if you look at the guys that are coming up over the next 12 to 18 months for LA, there's no room for Granlund. I don't
Yep.
see it.
So we'll see what happening. We open up the door for that one. We're going to get, one thing I would say to you, the GM Bill Cito, who just got a job with Florida, have a lot on his hands to figure out what situation with Hoffman, Tadanov, and Ola. And then, like we mentioned yesterday, the sweepstake is still up right now with Arizona, Bill Armstrong, with the situation with Darcy Quimper, the goalie, Golden Door over there. I want to mention this part where sometimes we don't hear that. Do you know the GM Bill Armstrong? When he did an interview over there, he prepared a 5-year vision for the team.
Yeah.
He did it in 90-page presentation.
It sounds like something I would do.
So my point to you is like any kids right now, any people want to get a job in NHL, what that kind of level, if you turn that way, whatever you do, right? Be prepared, bring your vision, your mission,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean, and be prepared. Don't show up and say, "Oh yes, I'm good." No, because it's not going to
No,
work.
that doesn't. Yeah,
There's no
I
work.
agree with you, Pierre. So when I think this is much smaller, but when I became a GM, I did the same thing. I had like a 20-page deck that said, "Here's our strategy for year 1, 2, and 3 to get to a championship," and that's what I outlined. And I think that got me the gig, and I executed on it. The problem was the team got sold.
Yeah.
They end up winning, and it's funny because they end up, not thanks to me, but the guy that took it over was going to be my coach originally, and then they end up winning. Like they won the championship 3 years later. He brought very good players, which is what you would have had to have done. But
So it was a great show, Michael.
I
We
think,
start with the trophies winner. We move on to we went to Germany today.
yeah,
We went to Germany. We went to the Kretschak family. We talked a lot about
really good
the
Jackson.
draft situation. I think we love it about that one. We're there. And then we finishing with a great UFA situation. Has got a lot of cows in hockey right now. Not that late, but good late where they have a lot going to. I believe is going to have a lot of trade and buyout if you done that after the season is over. Be ready for October 6, 7, and then
They
UFA
better buy out a few guys, man.
October 9. I'm excited about what's going to happen. And we're not going to have a slow 6 to 8 weeks with no hockey, but I think we'll be ready for
Be
2020
busy.
and 2021. Thanks again, Michael, for the Reggae Show.
Thanks,
Hockey
guys.
Fans
Have a great day.
Nation. Thanks to be here. Look forward to see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And have an amazing Tuesday. Thanks again.
Great day.
Yep.
Don't forget, LA is going to draft Byfield or Houston.
We come back with that Thursday or Friday. Have a good one.